Hi, I'm Parker Yanni, and this is my Hollywood versus History portfolio project, where I will be comparing The Deer Hunter and Full Metal Jacket for my History 204 class with Professor Beeman. One of the greatest directors of all time, in my opinion, David Fincher, once said that a movie is made for an audience and a film is made for both the audience and the filmmakers. The beauty and history of cinema is long and complicated, and people make films for all sorts of different reasons. The medium of film is one of the most powerful art forms we've had in the modern world, though. Cinema can help us communicate and understand complex issues, it can fill in empty spaces in our lives, and it can make us feel a vast array of different emotions. It can also teach us great lessons. Regardless of the things a film does, at the center of filmmaking is the desire and attempt to strike wonder and awe into the mind of the viewer, to provide the audience with an experience they can receive nowhere else. With entertainment being the goal at the heart of a film, it can easily lead to the change and rewriting of a story to make it meet these goals. This is especially apparent in Hollywood adaptations of real life events and stories. Because of the easily accessible nature of film and their popularity, Hollywood and subsequently the films they produce play a large role in how we view history. For most people, like me growing up, watching a movie that says it's based off of a true story or based off of real events will cause people to take what they see as fact and not a romanticized version of real events that transpired. For example, take the popular movie released in 2018, Bohemian Rhapsody, the Freddie Mercury biopic. This film released to widespread love and popularity as it told the story of one of the world's most beloved rock stars and was even nominated for 5 Academy Awards, winning 4. However, the vast majority of this movie was not accurate to what actually transpired, and I personally would go as far to say that this film was about 80% bullshit. I did not like this movie because of how inaccurate it was. This example just goes to show, though, that Hollywood faces no incentive to produce a movie that depicts accuracy when they can make more money by mass producing lighter films that will be more pleasing to wider audiences. However, this is the majority of while this is the majority of movies that are created, every so often there's a film that's created that does the opposite. Sometimes we get a film that accurately depicts events and is not afraid to show it for what it is instead of whitewashing events. 2 movies that I believe do this are Michael Cimino's The Deer Hunter and Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket. The Deer Hunter is not your typical telling of a war story. Most films dealing with war show massive battles and action, with the main character performing an act of heroism to save the day, and in the end, everyone is happy. The Deer Hunter is not this at all, and ultimately blew me away with its powerful story, deep characters, and for how different it is from your conventional war movie. The film really doesn't depict the Vietnam War. Rather, it chooses to depict the effect that war has on people. The film follows a group of blue-collar American steelworkers, and for the first hour of the movie, just depicts their lives pre-war. They love to have fun, joke, spend time at the bar after work, dance, and hunt deer. The first hour of the movie truly shows us who these characters are as individuals and what they mean to one another and those in their lives. As their deployment draws closer, you can see the excitement to serve, but also the feeling of solitude present within them. The film then cuts to Vietnam, where these friends are once again reunited after being captured by northern Vietnamese soldiers. While in captivity, the characters experience some of the most intensely depicted physical and extreme psychological torment in the film. One by one, the American soldiers are pulled from the cell they are being held in and forced to play another captured soldier they knew and fought with in a game of Russian roulette until there is one last man remaining. The scenes were disturbing and intense as they portrayed extreme violence to show the brutality of war. None the less, though, the main characters all escaped captivity but were forever changed. The remaining majority of the movie takes place back home in the United States, where the men deal with the events and horrors they experienced while at war, and it's safe to say none of them were the same. The men shown at the beginning of the movie were unrecognizable from their counterparts at the end of the movie. The fun in life had been drained from them, and they were left to deal with the loss of everything the war had taken from them. The parallelism of two scenes bookended at the front and back perfectly illustrate the change that had occurred over the course of the film. In one of the opening scenes, it shows three friends being merry and having fun at the local bar, and the final scene shows the friends once again in the same bar, although it's empty, quietly mourning the death of one of their other friends. The simplistic depiction of one scene at the beginning of the film and the exact opposite of it at the end perfectly depicts the irreparable damage that was inflicted upon the characters. Full Metal Jacket was along the lines of a traditional war movie, although it separated itself enough to be unique. Full Metal Jacket was broken up into two distinct halves. The first hour and the second hour, although connected, feel like they could be their own short films. The first hour portrays boot camp before deployment and focuses on three characters in particular as they go through the journey of boot camp. These are the drill sergeant, Private Joker, and Private Pyle. During these training scenes, you see how intense the drill sergeant is when it comes to preparing these young men for war by constantly berating, insulting, and yelling at them. Private Pyle being the sergeant's main victim to this harsh criticism. Private Joker, however, offers a kinder, more gentle approach to dealing with Private Pyle and takes him under his wing as the commanding officer to try and help him become a decent soldier. However, after it's discovered that Pyle was hoarding contraband such as donuts, the drill sergeant implements a group punishment, and that night all the trainees fill their pillowcases with soap and beat Private Pyle for being the reason they were punished. Private Pyle then becomes a model soldier seemingly overnight, excelling in every drill and impressing the drill sergeant, although his personality is deeply changed concerning Private Joker. Private Pyle meets a tragic end when he finally snaps one night under the pressure of training and abuse he has received and kills the drill sergeant with his M14 rifle loaded with FMJ bullets before committing suicide, marking the end of the first half of the movie. The second half follows Private Joker after his deployment in Vietnam, where he works on the news team. He's only allowed to write and publish articles that paint America in a positive nature and show that they are winning the war, even if it means not all of what they are publishing is true. Private Joker is then deployed with another member of the news team to follow a battalion of soldiers and interview them for an article. It becomes shockingly clear, though, that these soldiers do not know what they are fighting for. When asked about the war and their thoughts on it, their unsure and awkward responses, and some added up to nothing more than "kill the gooks," something the northern Vietnamese soldiers were frequently called throughout the film. Soon after, the troop goes out on a patrol where seemingly everything goes wrong. Their platoon leader dies and they are pinned down by fire from a single sniper. As soldiers are hit by the sniper, some of the other men run out facing certain death to try and save the fallen men. After multiple instances of turnover in leadership due to death and misfortune, Joker confronts the sniper from behind but is run out of ammo and faces a near-death experience but is saved by one of his fellow soldiers. The sniper, a young girl, lays on the floor praying and asks for Joker to shoot her, which he hesitantly does and simultaneously realizes what war is truly about and the heavy weight that it carries firsthand. The film then concludes with the soldiers marching on to their next destination, chanting the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse theme song. Upon viewing, both films complement each other very well. One seems to fill in the gaps that the other fails to address. For example, The Deer Hunter shows an excellent portrayal of how war can affect someone. It shows very little of what the soldiers did to prepare for war and what they did when they were at war, which is what Full Metal Jacket does so well. Both films portray the dehumanizing nature of war, an extreme experience that individuals could face during war. Both films are excellent at communicating an anti-war message through the different stories they tell and show the brutish nature and horrors of war, which is very fitting for the time period they were released. How accurate are these films, though? Full Metal Jacket is widely recognized as being one of the most accurate depictions of war. The boot camp scenes during the first half of the film were almost identical to what a lot of soldiers had to go through and experience. In addition to this, the war scenes were also mostly accurate. Kubrick was able to capture the big themes such as soldiers not knowing a motive in war, how uncertainty can hurt leadership in war, and the dehumanizing that took place. A lot more of the minute details, though, like placement of mines and military tactics, were dramatized for entertainment purposes, though. But it still got the main messages of war across. While The Deer Hunter is a fantastic film, the Vietnam scenes are quite dramatized. However, I believe The Deer Hunter excels at accurately depicting how war can affect someone and even a larger community. Just from hearing the stories about veterans coming back from war completely changed from the experience, in many ways, is akin to what The Deer Hunter portrays. While these are both fantastic movies, I believe The Deer Hunter is the better film of the two, as it packs a much more emotionally engaging story and a much more powerful punch. However, I believe that both of these films are essential films to watch at least once in your life, as they're not only great movies, but provide a pretty close depiction of what war is and can be used as a great tool to teach about the Vietnam War and the effects that it has. Thank you very much.